Rati, the little kitten. Kasumo was sitting on a stump not far from the house. She was watching the warm sun come up over the eastern hills. "Mother," she called, "who makes the sun come up in the morning?" "I wish I knew, said Mother earnestly. "Who makes it to go down so pretty and red at night?" "I have always wondered about that, too, my little flower. Right now, though, we need some water." Mother poured the last few drops from the jar into the rice kettle. "May I go to the spring and get some?" asked Kasumo eagerly. "I am 7 years old now. May I go all alone to get some water?" Mother thought for a moment. Perhaps Kasumo could take a gourd, since there was not need for very much water. "Yes, Kasumo, you are a big girl. I do not know what I would do without you. Take this gourd and fill it at the spring." With a smile on her face, Kasumo went down the path towards the spring. A word of praise from Mother made her feel very happy. Her heart was light, and she started to sing. The only song she knew was the chant of the charm doctor that she had learned from Father and Mother. She filled the gourd at the spring and started back home. Suddenly, she stopped in the path, for before her, looking right at her, was a small black animal with pointed ears and shiny eyes. "A kitty," said Kasumo. Then she realized it was a black kitty, a bad sign to those who were superstitious. But this kitty was different, even though it was black. This kitty was pretty and fluffy. It wasn't skinny and mangy like most of the frightened little kitties in the village. This kitty was friendly. It came towards Kasumo, crying, "Meow, meow." Kasumo had always wanted a kitty to love and care for, but Mother had discouraged her. This kitty was different. His fur was clean and fluffy. He was nice and plump and well-fed. Kasumo stooped down to pat him on the head. The kitty purred and brushed against her brown legs. "Mew, mew," he said again. "I wonder whose kitty you are," said Kasumo. "I think I will take you home. I am sure Kamari will love you." Putting the gourd of water in the circle of one arm, she lifted the kitty and carried him home in the other arm. Kamari was watching for her sister to return. She ran to meet her. She was excited when she saw the kitten. "I found him by the path as I came from the spring," said Kasumo. "It loves us, so that is a good sign." "May we keep it always?" said Kamari. "If Mother says we may," said Kasumo. Mother did not exactly agree that a black cat was a good sign, but she let the girls play with it all day. The kitty chased a weed or a bit of rope that they had pulled or shook for him. Mother watched them play. Kamari squealed with delight when the kitten hid behind a tree and then jumped out and caught the end of the rope with her that she was holding. "May we keep him?" asked Kamari timidly. "We shall see," said Mother, as she took Adho in her arms to comfort him, for he was crying again. "Why does he cry so much?" said Kasumo. "Perhaps he does not feel well," said Mother, holding him close. "His forehead is so hot." All day long, Kasumo and Kamari played with the black kitten. Mother suggested calling the kitten Rati, which means night, for he was as black as the starless night at midnight. Mother gave him some warm milk for his supper, and soon he curled up in a dark corner of the house and was fast asleep. He could scarcely be seen in the black shadows of the corner. Kasumo and Kamari were glad he was asleep when Father came home from the work. They did not know what Father would say if he saw a black cat in the house. They hoped Rati would stay asleep while Father was home, for they loved their friendly and lovable little playmate. When supper was over, the family prepared for the night. Kasumo and Kamari spread their blankets close together. Then Kasumo gently picked up the small black ball of fur and placed it on the blanket between them. Kamari patted and stroked the black silky fur. Kasumo also took turns patting and stroking the little kitten. Little Rati purred a sleepy song. He was glad he had found a home where he was loved. Father sat up to listen. "Do I hear a cat in here?" he asked crossly. Kasumo tapped the kitten on the nose. The purring stopped. "I didn't hear any cat," said Mother. Kasumo and Kamari held the kitten close. They feared that Father would find out. They hoped Rati would be quiet and would go to sleep without purring. "I must have been mistaken," said Father as he turned over on his mat, "but it surely sounded like a cat." For several minutes, Kasumo and Kamari lay perfectly still, scarcely breathing, for fear that Father would discover the presence of their beloved little kitten. Every time Rati started to purr, Kasumo tapped him on the nose. Father must not know that he was here. Father did not like cats. "Rati," whispered Kasumo, "you must not purr. Father will hear you. Please, little Rati, black as night, be quiet. We love you so much." Finally, Father fell asleep. At last, the loud snoring started. Kasumo's brown hand stroked Rati's black fur for a few minutes. Then it lay quietly on the mat. Kasumo was asleep. Soon Kamari's brown hand also lay quietly on the mat. All was still in the house with a thatched roof.